Hi, how you doing, folks? This is Mitch from Hard Intentions YouTube channel. We also have HARDINTENTIONS.com where we have some really cool stuff. Shirts, hats, art. Check us out. You might find something you like.
Club, they didn't want us being involved in it. They didn't want us being part of it, and stuff like that. We went back and forth, and finally it was like, we wound up, seeing the more positive light to it, I guess.
Right.
And the producer, he's the producer, the main producer, the executive producer is Jason Hervey, and Jason, he was the older brother on a TV show, The Wonder Years.
I remember that. Yeah.
So he's been.
I actually watched The Devil's Ride when I was in prison too.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Well, Jason, there was another guy, Adam Vetri and stuff, that are very, very career-minded people up in Hollywood. They do so many different projects, and they wanted us to do this here thing, and some people thought it was hokey, and some people thought we were getting a lot of people from around the country going, "Hey, what's up with these two clubs? This club doing this here and doing it there. They're making motorcycle clubs look bad and stuff." It's like, hey, it's none of your business anyway. It's their club, So when it came time and they wanted us to go on the show, I was all for it, because it was a way that's like, a lot of people don't know what, there's a difference between reality and script,
Right.
And with reality, you can go on like the Price is Right. It's a reality show, but the thing is, they pick the people beforehand who are going to be playing the reality part.
Right.
Okay.
So it's like fake reality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you're doing a TV show, and the reality shows were really big at that point, in the teens, that you still have to have some kind of storyline. You can't just have shit that's going on like this complete chaos in every which direction without having some kind of storyline.
Right. Yeah.
So in a way, the way that they would set it up is like, they would say like, all right, Fuzzy, you and Smiley are going to be doing a conference on the phone or something like that.
Right.
And they may tell me, okay, that someone's going to come through the door. Someone's going to bust through the door with a gun, and they're going to like kidnap me while we're doing this conversation.
Right.
Okay. But they want to see how you're going to react to it, because you don't know that this is going to happen.
Yeah.
You see? So there's no script for you to follow. It's just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? What are you doing? What do I do? So when you got a reality like that, there was actually people on the show that went to the hospital. There's people that got bruised up pretty bad.
Yeah.
Some people got seriously hurt. There's a lot of feelings that got hurt.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, were you the only guy from your club in that show?
No, we had let's see, we had four other guys that were with me mostly.
So there was like two clubs like competing. I only seen I think season 1, then I got transferred and that we didn't have so are those real clubs that
they were real clubs at the time, like the what you call it, the Laughing Devils. Right. They're the ones that kind of brought it together, because they're the ones that started it. They were a club that was trying to help the military people, and then they got approached by doing this show, and then like anything, you got to keep the storyline going to something,
right.
to keep the viewership going.
So like, hey, here's a motorcycle club. Look, they ride motorcycles, and oh, look at them guys over there drinking beer and fighting. I mean, it's got to be some kind of,
You got to come up. Yeah, you got to come up with some stuff. And trust me, like there was one scene in the thing where they were downtown, and this guy came up and just started taking pictures, and this dude was a prospect for one of the clubs. Man, fucking cold cocked this photographer who had no idea that that they were filming he probably knew what they were filming, but he was being, instead of coming up and saying, "Hey, can I get some pictures of you guys?" He just came up and put a camera in people's faces and started snapping pictures like like those guys that go out and follow movie stars and stuff.
Paparazzi type.
Paparazzi and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
And he just got knocked to the ground. It was like, and there was some serious, some real fights that took place with people that weren't even in the show. There's people that didn't like us filming the show that were, in different outlets that were making statements and stuff. So they never canceled the show. They never ended the show. It just stopped,
Yeah, I remember, I was in a dorm living at the time, and so they have a TV room for the Southern Mexicans and the whites, and a TV room for the Northern Mexicans and the blacks, and then the Paisas got it. So the whites got the TV every other day. So once a week when it came on, I'm kind of, I can be kind of aggressive. I just tell, guys would be complaining about, I want to watch this, I want to watch that. I just go in the TV room, turn the channel, say, we're watching this, sit down, shut the fuck up, or get out of the TV room. But on a Mexican night, I had this guy, he's a friend of mine, Southsider Mexican. He was in his 40s, and he'd come in and go, hey, Holmes, we're watching the Devils ride tonight, Holmes. I go, yeah. And some of his Southside would be like, hey, man, I want to watch this shit. He go, hey, Holmes, it's a Holmes night, So, hey, Holmes, Holmes is watching the Devils ride.
That's cool. Yeah, right on.
It was fun.
Well, I know a lot of people watched it just because they were from San Diego or lived in San Diego for some point in time and stuff like that. So they got to see around, things in San Diego.
Yeah.
And, like I said, it was, it would have been cool if we went through another season. I don't know how many seasons they could have got out of it anyway, because everything's got a time span, But we went on the last season, the first night that it aired. It was kind of crazy because I now was privy to the numbers, but the first night it aired, there was 407,000 people that watched it.
Oh wow!
Right, and by the time I think it was the 6th episode aired, we had 1.8 million people watching it.
Oh wow! So the viewership increased. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and so when viewership goes up, advertisement goes up. Then you wind up getting the beer commercials, and you get the the international kind of commercials and stuff. So. Yeah. But Discovery Channel, they must have seen different about it. I don't know. I don't know what the politics was there or whatever. But then after that, I wound up doing I've been just going for audition after audition, different things. And I wound up with a movie with Zach Galifianakis. I don't know if you know who Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
Yeah, he's real funny. He was actually a really nice guy.
He was in the Hangover movies, and the guy was a producer that. The Hangovers, the guy that made them. He's real big in prison reform.
Oh, really? Right on.
Yeah, I forgot his name. I met him. Scott Budnick, I think his name is.
Oh, okay.
I met him in LA. He started the Anti-Recidivism Coalition. He's been real big in getting guys out of Pelican Bay SHU. The gang members, prison gang members, have been in the SHU forever, and prison reform. He's working on that. Yeah. Yeah, but
I didn't know that about him. I actually met that guy, and I didn't know that about him. That's very cool.
Yeah, it is.
Because we did the movie I got casted for with them is called Masterminds.
Oh, really?
And it's supposed to be a true story about people that robbed a Brinks Armory, and he plays the big dummy who's like good holding the bag, but Owen Wilson and what the hell's the name? Oh shit, it'll come to me. But they're like scamming him that he's going to get caught holding a bag.
Is that the one where they steal all the money out of an armored car?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've seen that.
Yeah, and there's a Kristen Wiig. She was the other one, and so I'm on a set with her and Zach Galifianakis, and both of them were looking at me like I am set up like a fucking total bum. I'm missing teeth and everything, and they're walking around me like they think that because like they just pulled me off the street or something, You do a lot of jobs like this,
Yeah.
and they were both really, really, both of them were just sweethearts, and so the scene was where Zach is like he's on a tugboat rope and he goes swinging into these boxes. And when he crashes into the boxes, there's a bum living in the boxes and comes out. I'm the bum,
Yeah.
and there was no lines. I had to ad lib it, you know,
Yeah.
so he had no idea what I was going to say. And I just jumped out of the box. Originally, I was going to say, "What the hell are you doing in my house without a warrant?" You know, but all I got out was, "What the hell are you doing in my house?" And I'm flipping the cardboard boxes around and stuff. And he fell on his ass and then got up, and I had to chase him down this alleyway. And we get down this alleyway, and he's like, they yell, "Cut!" And he looks at me with his eyes real serious. He goes, "Dude, you scared the fuck out of me." I mean, honestly, I was like, I just gave him a hug. I said, "This is cool," you know.
That guy as funny in real life as he is on TV.
Dude, he's a sweetheart and a half. He's telling me, he's like, "Hey man, you know, having a beard in Hollywood is really a good thing. It's a really good tool and stuff like that." And he was just like, just really, really nice guy. Like somebody you could sit down and you know, and have a cup of coffee with, or you know, hang out on the boulevard with. You know, he just down to earth kind of guy. You know, and even Kristen Wiig. I didn't have a whole lot of time with her, but she was like a little intrigued, like looking at me. Like I said, the two of them look like they think that they pulled me right off the street or something. You know, because the director is a guy named I can't think of his name right now, but he directed Napoleon Dynamite. You know.
Oh yeah,
so,
that was funny shit too.
so you know, and he briefed me ahead of time. He's like, "Hey, I seen your audition." He goes, "Your audition was great." He goes, "Well, we can't throw no F-bombs, so we're going for a PG rating." You know. He goes, "So you can do whatever you want. You yell whatever you want, you know, be incoherent." I'm like, I'm not going to be in a scene with Zach Galifianakis and not have my voice heard, you know?
Yeah.
So then
cool.
I wound up with another gig. I did a movie called Disturbing the Peace with Guy Pearce and Devin Sawa. I had to go to Kentucky for that. And I got like 6 scenes with dialogue in that. You know, it starts off with me shooting a cop, and then I get shot at the end, you know, and that's it was a lot of fun. A lot of really, really good people. I didn't really make much money on that movie at all. It was a low budget movie, but I
experience, right?
Totally. And like the amount of people that have more credits than I do, you know, that were in that movie, I was just blown away. I was just so happy to be part of it, you know, and then right after that, there, I thought I was going on the roll because I wound up with an AT&T commercial, I was, you know, if I wasn't in it, if I didn't tell you I was in it, you wouldn't know I was in it. But it's really a cool commercial. And I thought they were going to use it for the Super Bowl because it's like a 90-second commercial. And but then they started showing it in the theaters, and then this COVID bullshit hit. And they closed down the theaters, so they weren't showing that commercial. You know, they still paid me, but they weren't showing the commercial anymore. And now since then, with all the COVID stuff, it's like I've gotten a couple of auditions, but they want you to do the auditions from your house. You know, you got to do your own lighting. You got to do your own. You know, I got to, you know, being a camera's set up like this here, but I got to record it and then send it to them and stuff. It's like there's a lot to do. You know, a lot of people think that acting is really easy. And in a lot of sense, it is. Some people just come real natural to it, you know. And it in a lot of ways, it is easy but it's like anything. You got to do your homework first in order for it to look
like
easy.
on shows like, you know, like Sons of Anarchy, right? Like, how much of that do they get? I don't know if you're a part of that or anything. I know they had guys that, you know, that are Righteous Motorcycle Club guys. There are a couple that were in that, but And I have a friend of mine that wrote script for it for 4 years, actually, and he quit.
Yeah.
He said that he told him, "Hey, this isn't really how biker life is," and the guy told him, "Well, you know, if we made it, we don't want people to see how boring it is. They won't watch the show. You know, that's why they did all the sensational shit." Then he went on to write for Charlie Sheen, Anger Management, till that thing blew up. But how much of that do you get to ad lib? You know, like, do they tell you, "Hey, this is a scene," but you know, like, I mean, how much you got to follow the script like 100% or
it depends. It really depends on who you're working with, you know, because like I'll be honest with you, like my biggest downfall is learning lines, you know, because they give me lines, and there's certain things like that I don't talk like, and most people don't talk like what's written down in front of them.
Yeah.
So I get too wrapped up with trying to say exactly what's in front of me than just acting the part out, you know. And most of the times when I just act the part out, and I just jumble the lines, you know, to get my point across. I usually do way better, you know. And but there's some people, they want you to follow those lines. They, you know, the writers, they spent a lot of time writing those lines, and you know, and
that would be hard for me too, to memorize the lines, you know.
Yeah,
they got like chalkboards there with lines you can look at.
Well, the funny thing is, when you go on a set, they actually give you, like, because it takes like I forget what it was. It's like, it's a day per minute for a movie. Okay, so if you watch a 90-minute film, you know, in the movies, it's a day for each one of those nights. So it's a 90-day contract. So what happens is, when they're filming it, because they're not using everything that's coming in, so they'll have a camera on you and I. They'll have the camera over my shoulder as I'm talking to you to see your reaction, and then we go through the scene again with the camera over your shoulder talking to me. Right. And then they put the cameras to the side, you know, with us talking to, and so you wind up learning the lines, because you wind up in a day's time, and in a 2-hour period, you've done the lines probably like 8 times.
Let's just say you're going to be in a show like, you know, like some of them guys like Sons of Anarchy, they were in the show from beginning to the end, you know, for years.
Yeah.
So they don't just have to memorize all the lines for the whole show.
No,
it's just scene by scene.
It's good to know. It's good to know, like to know the whole storyline. To know the storyline all the way from beginning to end, so you know where it's going, you know. But each day when they're filming, they're giving you, like, or I say, cheetah papers that are telling you this is what we're filming today, you know. So because it, you know, you know, try and read a 90-page book and have it all memorized.
Yeah, it's impossible.
No, you know. And you know, the funny thing is, like with the Sons of Anarchy and stuff, there's a lot of times I'm out on the streets, man, and like when we did the what you call it, the movie, that's the reality show down here, you know, the Devil's Ride. Right. I used to get hit up on the street, and people were like, "Oh, hey, you're fuzzy. Hey, you're fuzzy," you know, and stuff like that. And a lot of times I'm like, you know, I'm not going to be rude to people. You know, I opened the door to being in the movies and stuff like that. I tell my friends, I go, hey, if I'm ever rude to somebody who comes up and recognizes me from a movie, just fucking punch me right in the fucking side of the head, because I'm just being an asshole, you know? If you put yourself out there, you gotta understand, people are going to come up that don't know, that you don't know, that are going to approach you, you know? And you know, to them, they're inviting you into their house every week. They know about you. You don't know who they are, but they're inviting you into their house. They think you're friends. And so you got to handle that, you know, as best you can. But a lot of times from Sons of Anarchy, which was way more popular and stuff, I got mistaken for Bobby Elvis all the time, you know, for Mark Boone Jr. Oh, man. Like, and the clincher for that was when I was working on a movie in Kentucky, a girl down there, Veronica, she was part of production. She's from Italy, and she looks over at me, and she's like, Fuzzy. She goes, I'm sorry, I'm staring at you. She goes, but you look so much like a friend of mine. And I just kind of threw it out. This is Mark Boone Jr. And she goes, you know Boone? I go, no, I don't. I go, but I get mistaken for him all the time. And she's actually, she never dated him, I don't think, or whatever, you know, but she's just really good friends with him and does a lot of promotion with him. And for her to tell me that I look like him, that was like a clincher that, you know, maybe we have a lot of similarities, you know?
Well, maybe they'll do another, I don't know, some kind of thing where you guys could be like, you know.
Yeah. Hey, you know, I mean, one of the things is I learned when I used to always think that people that are in the movie industry are just arrogant fucks, you know, because they're always telling you about the movies that they did or the TV show that they did and stuff like that, you know. And I come to the realization is being a real estate agent and being an actor, I'm going to, if I meet somebody new, I'm going to, within certain part of the conversation, I'm going to tell them that I'm an actor, and I'm going to tell them I'm a real estate agent. Yeah. Because nobody else is out there, you know, nobody's out there promoting me, you know. Yeah. And you just never, you just never know who you're talking to, you know.
Yeah, I do the
And
same
there's
thing.
been
Like,
plenty
hey,
of time.
I'm an artist. I got a YouTube channel. I got a
Right.
website. You know, same thing.
Yeah, you got to.
And it's
You
like
know, and
fighters. You know, like I seen these MMA guy fighters, and I knew some guys in prison. A couple guys that were serious martial artists, and they're talking about. It's like, and I used to think, oh, that guy thinks he's just a tough motherfucker, you know. But really, it's the same thing. They're talking to them. Fighting is their art form, kind of. You know, it's their skill. They're talking about their skill. They're not talking like, hey, I'm the baddest motherfucker in the world. They're talking about this is my skill. This is what I do. It's my job. You know. So yeah.
And I started realizing that there, and I come to the understanding that you have to, you know, I got to promote myself. That's you know, and if not being arrogant, and I try not to be arrogant about it. But the funny thing is, I met some people and he said, "Hey, really? How long have you been acting?" And I told them, and they're like, I do, I'm working on this project, blah blah blah. I'm looking for some people to work with it on me, and work with me and stuff like that. And I tell them all the time, hey, I'll do student films every day. I don't need to get paid for it. I just enjoy being part of it,
Yeah.
And but yeah, you just I always hated that kind of cliche. Like I used to say, like everybody in California, by the time the third question came up, is what do you do for a living? What's your name? Where do you live? And what do you do for a living? And it's like, but the point is, you do have to market yourself, no matter what kind of trade you're in.
Yeah. Hey,
especially if you work for yourself.
When I was in Lancaster, I basically ran the arts and corrections program. So I was level 4 yard. We had arts and corrections, and then my boss's office was on the level 1 yard. So she let me run the shop, and it's art.
Right.
We had music, and she was a screenwriter. She went to Juilliard, she's really smart with So we would have plays, and she would perform. Guys come in, want to be a part of a play, and they'd write the script and do it. And it was pretty cool. Them guys always had a lot of fun. So going like student films and shit would kind of be fun,
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. But, so you got any projects in the works, maybe like films, or what about the Devil's Ride? Do you think they'll be bringing that back, or can anybody watch the Devil's Ride now that it's not on? Is it?
Yeah, you can. I believe you could get it on. They still got it on. What's that there? What the hell is that? Like Hulu and stuff like that.
Okay.
You would still see them on that. Because it's all archived. And even the movie I did in Kentucky, that was on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
All right. And the funny thing is, I just got a residual check from Masterminds, which we did in I think it was in 2016. So the checks kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. So now they send me a check, I guess it's every 6 months now, because it was a whopping $15. Hey, it is what it is. It's
So you're still in real estate though, right? Now?
Yeah.
So are you like an agent, or what do you?
Yeah, I'm an agent. I have to work for a broker,
Okay.
Because you can't. The broker takes your responsibility. Same thing with lending. You have to be under a broker unless you become a broker. And for me, being an agent works out fine. My broker, he and I are really good friends. I was his first agent, and we work real well together. He's he does me very justifiable. The name of our company is the Maven Group West.
West.
The Maven Group West.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of the people look at it and they go, "Oh, it's Marvin." I go, "No, it's Maven."
That's out of San Diego.
Yeah, and we got an agent up in LA, and we got one on Inland Empire too somewhere. But we could do it all of California, And when I first met up with David, his name's David Mill, and I said to him, "David, what the hell is Maven Group? What is that?" And he goes, he got the word from I guess it's a Yiddish word. He ain't Jewish, you know, but it's a Yiddish word. A maven is supposed to be somebody who teaches you their skill as you're going along, you know.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, that you know, that kind of makes sense, you know, because I'm really, you know, if I was selling you a house, man, I'm going to give you so much information that you may tell me, shut up, man, I don't want any more information, you know, because it's like, I'm going to tell you, well, this is the ins and outs. This is what we got to do. This is why we're doing this. And this is why we're taking place with that. And this is what's coming from this angle, you know, and I'm going to explain it all to you in detail, you know, because I want you to fully understand what you're getting into.
Yeah. You don't want to sell them a lemon. So if somebody wants to buy a house down there, they can get a hold of the Maven group, you say?
The Maven Group West, yeah.
All right, and they can just ask for Fuzzy, or they ask you by name, or?
Yeah, we got a website. What the hell's our website? It's you know, www.themavengroupwest.com.
We'll post that on our thing too. So
yeah, I appreciate that.
Hey, so like you know, I have a friend in Arizona. He's in a motorcycle club, and last year we're getting ready to go again in February. We rode from Northern California all the way into Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado. We came back in through Utah and then back home through Vegas, and 400 miles on that Dyna, you know. But yeah, I saw my friend in Arizona, and he's in a club and shit. And I go, hey, you know, I met some of your brothers over there in Prim, you know, because it's cold. It was snow on the ground, you know, so we get snowmobile mittens. They go right on. You put your hands inside there, and so I came out of the casino, and these guys in this club, they're all standing around, and they got Compton side rocker and stuff, and they're looking at our bikes, and I go, "What's up?" You know, and they go, "What the hell's that?" You know, and I told them it's snowmobile mittens, and I'm like, "Man, that's fucking cool," you know. And,
no, it's warm.
yeah, you know. But I was talking to him, and I go, "Yeah, they're pretty cool guys," and he goes, "You know what, man? How can somebody not be cool when you approach them, look them in the eye, and shake their hand and say, 'How you doing?'" You know, so
exactly.
And so is that kind of how? What if some guy has an interest in joining a motorcycle club, and I'm not, you know, I mean, just as a person, what if some guy sees you, you know, and you got your patch on, and you're in with your bike, or maybe a couple of your brothers, want to approach you? I mean, everyone has an image like you guys are just, you know, superhuman, terrorists, kind of, you know, the stereotype shit, you know, fear, you know. So how would they approach you?
Well, the funny thing about it is that, you know, it's an open question, and it gets asked a lot. And the point to the matter is, like, it's like anything. If you approach somebody respectfully, you know, and just say, "Hey, how you doing? My name's Bob. My name's Bill." You know, just, you know, and then you lead into a conversation of like, well, how do I do this? You know, if I wanted to do that, you know, coming in respectfully is that's the biggest thing I could say. Now I'm talking about my club. Now other clubs out there, you know, a lot of clubs, I see a lot of clubs nowadays, man, they think it's like 1968 or whatever the frick, you know, where it's like, you know, there are all these tough guys, like, you can't talk to me, you know, who the hell you think you are, you know. It's like, and it's like, you're not doing anybody any, you know, the only one you're impressing is yourself, you know, because why would you do that to someone who could be a potential good dude, who could be a good club brother? Why would you, you know, at least get the opportunity to meet them, and then figure out if
someone who's interested in joining a motorcycle club or hanging around or just, I mean, why would you disrespect them? But
exactly.
You know, and what about the guy who just you know, sees you, you know, in the bike, and he just wants to say hi and say, "Man, you got a badass bike." Even if he doesn't have any aspirations of being in a club or nothing, he's just a biker guy, wants to say hi, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I come up, you know, during the time that like I prospected and stuff, and the people that I was around mostly, it's like I hang out at coffee shops, you know. I don't go to bars too often. I'm mostly at coffee shops, you know. And I'll see a guy on a Ducati, you know, and he's sitting there drinking a coffee. I'll walk by him and I'll say hello to him. I'll say, "Hey, how you doing? My name's Fuzzy," you know. It's like, you know, because number one, it don't matter what the hell he's riding. It's all the same wind. The wind don't change. you know, so it's like, as that story I'm just telling you, I wind up becoming pretty good friends with a guy just because I seen him at the coffee shop a couple of times, and I just introduced myself to him because, maybe I'm stupid, maybe I'm retarded, I don't know, but it's like if I'm nervous about somebody or somebody is hanging real tight to me or something, I'm going to go up and approach him. I'm going to go up and say hello to them.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you get like undercover cops or something like that want to be they think that they're secretive or they're able to come at you with something like that. It's like I'm just going to walk up to you and say hello. And I'm not going to sit there and like I was telling you about the one cop who used to come to the Harley Davidson dealership. I mean, for 10 freaking years, he came to the dealership and never bought nothing, but he come there and he try on glasses and he try on jackets and he never even bought a part. He even told me he had a motorcycle, whether he ever rode it, if he had a motorcycle or not, I don't know. Yeah. But it's like, after a while, I just see him and I just wave at him. Hey, how's it going?
I got a friend hit down here in Sacramento area. He was, he's a club guy and he's in a different club. And they were investigating him. And they were at a party and he got 2 plates of food and walked over to their car. And they're like, back up. And he's like, hey, if you guys are going to sit out here in your fucking car all day, you might as well have a plate of food. And he put it on the hood of their car and walked off, Yeah. I don't think they ate it, but,
there's a lot of things that they're told too. There's a lot of things that, but some of the things that I hear that they told, mm-hmm. I go, wow, like, holy shit. No wonder why you act the way you act. Like, why would, I would be freaked out too if they told me that was about you. you know, and again, they'll take some really, some story that might have happened with one person and they turn it into that. That's what the whole, that the whole organization does or something like that, and it's like, that's a, like I said, that's pretty tough, because not everybody
for their stereotype and their scenario is that, it can't be just one guy who might be in a motorcycle club is out doing some criminal activity on his own so he could get some money, and
right.
up financially. And, to them, their scenarios that the rest of the guys, there's no way they couldn't know about it or be a part of it. But in reality, that's not true.
No. That's the thing is, there may be some people doing that, but you can't paint a wide brush and say that's everybody,
right.
Because
and if a guy is say guys in your charter that you're in, he's in North County doing some dirty illegal shit, and you're down where you might not. Chances are you probably don't even know what he's doing.
I guarantee you I won't, because I personally I don't dig into anybody's into anybody's way of making a living. It's not, like I said before, it's none of my business.
Right.
I don't somebody willingly tells me this is what I do, I do this kind of work or I do that kind of work. Okay, cool. I may even say to them, hey, do you know anybody who does roofing? Because, I need a roof,
Right.
And, but majority of the time, it's like, I don't know if somebody's got an inheritance or somebody's, living off of, stocks that they did, or something like that. Yeah. It's like, I got a hard enough time trying to figure out everything in my life. Never mind trying to figure out what's going on in someone else's.
Yeah. Even if they're part of your crew, it's, I saw a show on TV when I was in a pen. It's a guy, he was a president of a bike club down in Texas. And he goes, look, man, we might have 20, 30 guys. And out of 20, 30 guys, there might be 7 or 8 of us that go work. And after work, we meet at a bar and have beer. Then there might be 5 or 10 guys that, like to sniff a little speed. And so they'll meet over here and they'll sniff their speed. And And then
Right.
every now and then we get together and we all go ride motorcycles together and talk about motorcycles. And I thought that was a pretty good scenario.
You know, the thing is, I think from the cops' perspective, the reason why they come up with these these scenarios of us, or you know, in the biker world as a whole,
Yeah.
is because their program that they're on, okay, you know, whether they're still on it or not. But I know years ago, like they would put out recruitment for police officers, you know, to join the police force.
Mhm.
Okay, they'd bring in 100 people. Out of that 100 people, there might be like 2 questions on the questionnaire that they wanted answered a certain way,
Yeah.
you know, and 58 of those people would answer it the right way. Those were the 58 people that came back for the next test.
Yeah.
Okay. And on that next test, there was a certain, you know, maybe 3 or 4 questions that needed to be answered a certain way, you know, and out of those 58 people, 30 of them would answer that question right. So out of the 100 people, by the time they got down to maybe 25 people that answered the questions the way that they wanted, because the cops want somebody they don't want somebody who's going to think for themselves. They want somebody who's going to follow orders.
Right.
They don't want somebody who's going to, you know, you know, come up with their own judgment in the base of it. They want them to follow the program that they're on. So
Right.
they think that any kind of organization out there does the same thing. So that's why they think that everybody is the same, because
So
they are
they're viewing you or anyone in a motorcycle club, any motorcycle club, really, they're viewing them under the same light that they view themselves.
right.
They think
Exactly.
you guys have the same agenda, same program as them. They run things the way they do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then as time goes on, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not down on cops. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I think that you know, I don't normally run into good cops, but I've known, you know, there's plenty of good cops out there.
Yeah,
You know,
they do a good job.
I usually run into the ones that like junior Perry Masons that are going to, they think that, oh, I got this big case, I'm going to bust this guy for, you know, I got him for speeding and he's going to be a drug dealer and he's going to be this and I'm going to get all kinds of ribbons and awards and all this other stuff. And,
Yeah.
you know, and you know, and that's the misfortunate thing, because you know, I think a lot of the cops that go do those programs and stuff like that, they start seeing that that's not accurate. It's not accurate of how to look at people, especially American citizens, you know, that are, you know, I mean, like there was a you know, where I grew up on the East Coast, which it's kind of funny and weird because the East Coast, like everybody's so tight together there. Everybody's so, I mean, it's not unheard of. Like I had 2 different cousins that were in 2 different police departments, you know, and I had an uncle who was the president of the PBM New Jersey, you know, and it's like, it's not unusual to have, you know, a picnic or a family barbecues or something, like, you know, having cousins or uncles or something that are part of the police departments and stuff. And you know, and those same people, they've known you since you're a little kid, and they see these you know, these reports about what you're supposed to be, that, you know, they tag you as being, and they're like, that's not him, you know, they know, you know. And they still got their job. They don't want to lose their pension. They don't want to lose, you know, their investment of, they've already got 10 years into the police force. They don't want to lose, you know, their investment that they made into their career, you know.
Yeah.
But they still, you know, they still have their agenda, and their agenda is, you know, I honestly think that a lot of cops, for a while there, I was thinking that maybe they're starting to realize that they've been lied to on a lot of stuff. But now this whole thing that started about, you know, where, you know, this woke stuff and trying to say that they want to defund the cops and they want to do all this other stuff. And, you know, it's like, hey, the cops did a lot to create that problem themselves, hands down, you know. Yeah. But at the same time, you know, the little old lady down the street who might get mugged or something, she needs the cops, you know.
Well, what we used to say in the joint was, you know, the cops are for women, children, and old people.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not calling the cops. I'm not calling the cops. I mean, my bike gets stolen, I got to report it stolen and get an insurance claim.
That's what.
If I know who took it, I'm not telling them who took it. I'm just going to go deal with that on my own. But I'm just saying, you know, cops are for certain elements of society that need cops, you know?
Right. Yeah, and they're trying and to try and say that they, you know, to try and unfund them is not doing society any kind of benefit at all. I don't see it that way. No. You know, I mean, I think they need better training by far.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure. I was smashing out homeless camps and the program that we're cleaning them out, you know, and it was started by some cops, you know, and the cops would evict them sometimes and they'd be there. And the guy that started it, he was a cop for like 25 years and he just retired. But, you know, I told him I got a YouTube channel and then he told me, hey, I've been watching your channel and we were chatting. But anyways, he goes, you know, when he started as a cop, he told his son, what do you do for a living? He goes, I catch bad guys. And then he said after a while, he had to tell his son, you know what? There's no such thing as bad guys, really. They're just people that make bad decisions. Right. So he started off as, you know, I'm going to catch bad guys. And then as he worked a job, he realized, you know,
right.
People are people, you know.
And a lot of cops go into the program you know, because they think that they're going to help society, you know. And then I think they get into it and they realize how much politics is involved in it, right. and different things. I'll tell you a funny story. I mean, it probably wasn't funny to the dude. And there's a guy that I met down here when I was 18. He was prospecting for this club in all due rights, I'd say at the time, because you know the whole 1% diamond thing. It's like that's a label that the cops have put on what they call outlaw bikers. Okay, you know it's not what it's not what the cops portray it to be. You know, that's not where it started. And but you know, for all intents and purposes, from the way that people are describing stuff, these guys were probably in what would be called a 1% club or whatever. And this guy was prospecting, and he was down in Imperial Beach, and he had this old chopper. You know, he was a Native American Indian, however you want to say it. You know, And over the years, I seen him, and that club folded years ago, and then I'd see him every once in a while. And then time went on. I'd see him over here in North Park by where I live. Mm-hmm. And honestly, since COVID happened, he wasn't in best of health, so I don't know if he's still with us or not, you know. But he got into the program, into the NAAA program and stuff like that. And he tells me, he goes, you want to hear the strangest thing? I go, what's that? He goes, he's in a program. He says, and he goes, everybody's saying who they are and stuff like that, you know. And he goes, the only time I've gone to those meetings is when I'm celebrating, giving somebody a friend of mine a cake or something like that. If they're getting a cake or something, that's you know, because fortunately I've never had the problem, you know. And but I support the people that know it and they deal with it, you know. So he's telling me, he goes, dude, he goes, this guy walks up to him and goes, David, and he goes, yeah. He goes, hey, I'm I'm just gonna make up a name, Jeff Smith, you know. And David looks at him and goes, yeah. He goes, you don't remember me? And David goes, no. He goes, you don't remember Sheriff Smith from IB? And he goes, oh, shit. Wow. He goes, so Sheriff Smith says to him, he goes, he goes, I'm working on my steps and I'm trying to, redo my life. Yeah. He goes, and I just want to tell you something. And David's like, step back a little bit. He goes like, what up, man? Yeah. He goes, he goes, when I used to chase you through IB, he goes, I want to let you know, I'm letting you know now. He goes, I was actually trying to kill you. Wow. He goes, I was chasing you, see how fast I could get you that I could justifiably say it was legal for me to run you over. Wow. And David just kind of like went, oh, like, wow, dude, like, why are you throwing this on me now? And I guess the cop was in the program. Yeah, and
make amends,
He's trying to make amends. And I said, David, I said, well, what'd you tell him? He goes, you know what? He goes, I said, fuck it, because if I had the opportunity back then, I'd try and kill you too.
Wow. That's crazy.
So, it was like, but he's just kind of blown away for 30 years later for this to come up, and like, you know.
Obviously, that guy was in the program, so he had fucking problem with drugs or alcohol, whatever.
Oh yeah, totally, yeah. So, but you know, I mean, again, it's like, you know, at least he approached him and talked to him about it, you know, not knowing which direction that would go, you know. So
hey, like when I went to prison, you know, everybody used to ride choppers pretty much, you know, and
yeah,
I had a super glide, you know, I had a FXE, you know, bikes like that. So when I got out of prison, I seen everyone riding, you know, the baggers and the what they call the club style bikes, you know.
yeah.
So do you think that is like a result of like the Sons of Anarchy, or is that just something that developed
Well, I think what it is, because
clubs
there's
themselves? Did they come up with that style of bike? I mean, where did Sons of Anarchy get that style? Was that something you guys kind of developed and then the show took on? And
yeah, there's a lot of guys in our club, a lot of younger guys that were coming around. They started with FXRs,
right,
and they started jacking them up. It's where everybody else, like in the 80s and everything, was lowering their bikes to the ground, look cool and stuff.
yeah.
And then people started getting the FXRs, I'd say in the early 90s. And they'd get the old FXRs and then the Dynaglides, and they started jacking them up, putting all kinds of, space shuttle stuff on them and stuff, you know. So now they had great ground clearance and shit, you know.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much, that's where, you know, the style came from, having a fairing in the front,
Right.
drag bars, you know, 6-inch drag bars, the whole, you know, they became like the club bike. And then when Sons of Anarchy came out, it kind of took it to a whole nother level, you know, because of this, you know, that's what everybody wound up riding, you know.
Right.
And but no, I remember seeing like a lot of guys in the early 90s, some of the young guys in different charters around California starting to do that. And I was just like, wow, that's fucking that's you know, that's not my style of bike, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I've always been into the bigger bikes, you know. I don't, I mean, I took a couple of chances a couple of times trying to build myself a bar hopper.
Yeah.
I got one now that I've been working on for 10 years, you know. But it's like, you know, maybe at some point I'll have it done. but yeah, that never, that style never really crossed what I liked.
Yeah.
You know, I like in 1990 I bought a Fat Boy. It was the first vehicle brand new that I ever bought in my life.
Yeah.
And I like the big tires. You know, I've always bought bikes for traveling, you know, for not for getting just around town. Is always like, I got a Road Glide I got now. It's the second Road Glide I got, you know, and it's like, that's what I prefer, you know.
Yeah. Well, you can travel long distance on it, and you know, like, but when I got to prison, I got a Dyna. I ended up putting 14-inch shocks in the back, and I put two over tubes in the front with 2 over dampener rods on it. So it's pretty high up off the ground. It was a Dyna lowrider, but it was not low. And
yeah.
So went on that Arizona ride. My friend Bill kept looking at me, you know, and Jimmy, and I'm like, they're looking at me while we're riding. I'm like, you know, what's up? So we pull over at a gas stop, and then I go, what's going on, man? You know, and he goes, because I love watching you ride. I go, why? What's up? He goes, man, when your bike just kind of, you know, you hit them bumps and your bike just eats them up, man.
Oh yeah.
Now I sold that, and I got a new Indian, which is
oh, right on.
I love it. It's a 2022. Yeah. It's a smaller. It's got a tubular steel frame instead of the cast aluminum. And,
oh yeah. That aluminum one was starting to bite them in the ass. That aluminum frame was starting to. I've seen a couple of times where they broke.
I've seen some necks break on them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing to happen on a motorcycle.
That's a death sentence. There it could be. So you know, the quality of the bike I have now compared to the Dyna is just a night and day. It handles so nice, and it's got so much power, dude. I just it's great, you know. But,
yeah, I remember working at when I was working at Harley Davidson. That's when a lot of people, you know, I had a couple of people in the club that worked there with me, and they started doing their bikes up like the club style and stuff. And when they got done with it and stuff, I just sit there and smile the whole way, and I go, "So, what are you gonna do for a kickstand?" Because they raised them up off the ground. The kickstand, the bike was leaning over like this.
I put a 2-inch over kickstand on my bike.
At the time, they didn't have 2-inch over kickstands, you know.
Yeah.
So you know, people were like, you know, driving a screw through a block on the bottom of it, you know, just to try and make up the distance and stuff. But it was just funny, you know, because it was like, because they had some kickstands that were longer, you know, but they didn't need, you know, that the extra 2 inches like that, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I've seen guys with blocks of aluminum or metal, you know, welded to the bottom and stuff. I was like, man, that's kind of bulky, you know. Yeah, I ran into I got a kickstand. I don't know where I got it, off eBay or somewhere. It was 2 inches over, you know.
Yeah.
I put that on it. Yeah, and my bike still leaned a little bit, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Harley Davidson started finding out that when people started, you know, Harley Davidson comes in after the end, they see what everybody else is doing out on the street, and then they start making it, you know.
Yeah.
And then they see no need for a 2-inch longer kickstand. Well, okay, $85, you know.
$100, you know.
Yeah, $100.
Everything from Harley's $100, you know. So you got your acting still going on. Hopefully you can get some you know, some gigs going, man. I'd like to see The Devil's Ride come back just for entertainment purposes, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know when to, you know, like I said, like everything. There's some days I go, what am I doing? Why am I wasting my time? Why does you know, put it behind me and fucking say I did it, I'm done, you know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, you know, I trust my friends, you know, and I trust them. I tell them, I go, look it. I go, don't sugarcoat it. Tell me what you think. You know, like if you've seen this movie, you know, like the disturbing the peace, you know, even for the parts that I had in it, did I do a good job or didn't I?
Yeah.
You know, even if the movie's like a low budget movie or anything like that, you know, tell me because if I'm wasting my time because I come across hokey or something like that, well, you know, what am I doing it for? You know, because I really try to get involved in the character, you know, and it's like, you know, for me, when I think about somebody, or when I think about acting and stuff, it's like, as an example, I know I can never get casted for a 6'4" black man. That's just not going to happen, you know. But if somebody said to me, "We want you to read these lines," and these lines are basically lined out for a 6'4" black man, I got a really true dear friend of mine who's a 6'4" black man. Okay, I would take his personality that I know so well, and I try and imitate his personality because that's what I know, you know. And when it comes to acting, I mean, you got to be a little bit schizophrenic or psycho anyway to be an actor, because it's like you're trying to convince people that you're doing something that's not you, you know?
Yeah, like, guy told me one time, you know, they're getting paid to pretend to be somebody they're not, you know?
Right.
Yeah, so some of the really good actors are kind of nutty, you know?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I did, I'll tell you what, there was this girl. I did this video, and the whole video was done in slow motion, and it's called Willow Tree, and it was by a band called That Noise, and I play like the evil stepfather, and it's really, really pretty girl. We're playing against each other, and I'm supposed to, you know, the camera angles and stuff like that, like I'm supposed to backhand it, you know, and we're sitting around eating pizza and stuff, getting ready to do the scenes and shit. She says to me, she goes, you know, it'd be really cool. And I go, what's that? She goes, if you really hit me, right? And I go, yeah, that'd be really cool. That'd be funny, you know. And she goes, no. She goes, it'd be so authentic if you really hit me. And I go, check it out. I go, look at it. I go, I'm not into hitting girls, you know. I go, even if they said that they wanted me to hit you, I couldn't do that, you know. I go, I never even spanked my daughter. You know, I ain't hit a girl since I was in 7th grade or 7 years old, you know.
Yeah.
And But she was at first I thought she was just joking. Then I thought, well, fuck, she might be serious.
You got upset about that or what?
No, I mean, we went through the thing and I didn't hit her, but it was like, and the camera looked like it fine, like I didn't hit her. She reacted fine to me backhanding her. But I was talking to another actor who did the AT&T commercial with me, and he told me that he had some producer. Part of the thing was that she was a witch and she was putting a spell on him, and he was a wizard, and that he was going to be laying there and he was going to go up in fire. Okay, So he's like, okay, cool, and they go, okay, well, this is where you're going to be laying out, when after they go through the other scenes, and it's like, okay, now we're going to do the fire scene, and he's laying out on this grass area or something like that, all dressed in the wizard stuff, and the producer, who's also the actress in the thing, her helpers and stuff, they come out with a solution of water and gas together, and they start pouring it on him, and he can smell the fucking gas. He's like, hey, what are you doing? And she goes like, oh, we'll put you out. He's like, I ain't the fucking stunt man. He ain't got nothing on for fucking fire retardant. He ain't got nothing. And she's like, I like authenticity. If you can't do that, I don't need you on my set. He's like, I'm out of here. Like, I'm not gonna let you put me on fire, pour gasoline on me and put me on fire.
That's insane.
And there are some people in this industry that you have to sometimes you really they you got to evaluate them, because it's like anybody whose daddy was rich and they could get the money to make a movie, they can make a movie. It's not that difficult for them. And then you think, okay, they want me to be part of the movie, and like I said, you're trying to build up your relationships, because a guy who's a student today, he could be Robert De Niro tomorrow. You don't know. And so but when they want you to do something that's like completely shaky like that, it's like, no, I'm not freaking doing that. It's
I have to tell them to pound it. I wouldn't fire that shit. That's fire, electrocution, any of that kind of shit. They'd have to get some.
Exactly.
Oh shit, man! It's been fun talking to you.
Oh, likewise. Is that your artwork behind you?
Yeah, it's my next T-shirt pattern eventually. I have a T-shirt company, and
that's pretty nice. I like that.
Thanks. Let's just put it as a backdrop. It's acrylic. Yeah. That's my thing. I like to paint and draw and sell a few T-shirts here and there.
Well, it's good. Yeah.
It got me, helped me get through prison. My art, music, art. The hope of getting out, riding motorcycles again, and that's what got me through. So before we go, you got anything you want to say, or any final thoughts, or?
The thing is, Smiley, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you inviting me on. I hope it was interesting enough.
It was good chatting with you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And hopefully get to meet in person at some point in time. And if
be going down to San Diego in February on our way to Arizona, so maybe we can meet.
Definitely,
real life. Any movies, anything you want to plug before we go?
I just got the real estate going right now. Outside of that, it's just show and go.
All right.
But I do appreciate your time, and appreciate you taking the time to talk with me. And maybe we'll do it again someday.
I really wanted to get you on because I'm down for the motorcycle riding and motorcycle club guys. You guys do it. That's the deal. That's your life, and it's my life. I'm not a motorcycle club guy. Now let me ask you, what if a guy signs up and he's like, hey, I want to do this, and then he realizes, hey, you guys ride pretty hard, right?
Yeah, it happens, and that's what that's why the steps are there. There's always safety nets, because like myself, I don't want anybody coming around the club that's going to fail.
Yeah.
So you have like the hang around period, And then you have the prospecting period, and each step along the way, you're getting to know a little bit more and a little bit more along, per se, say grooming of how things function and how things work,
Right.
And if somebody's already in a prospect period and they think that that they got to show off and while everybody's running down the road in a pack and they're going to show off and do, pass everybody in the pack and do a wheelie or something, well, they're not impressing nobody but themselves. It's like,
what if a guy says, I like hanging around you guys, are cool, and then he starts riding with you guys and decides, hey, you guys ride a little bit too fast, a little bit too tight, and I don't think I can hang with that. That doesn't mean like
no,
a guy's better off being honest with himself, and the guy's honest, right?
Much rather have somebody honest with themselves, because I tell everybody, being in our club or any club is not for everybody, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with being friends with us,
Right.
Being friends with us is, there's people that I've known that have been friends with us, that are friends to the club for 40 years. It's just some people just whether it's the riding or they just can't get their mindset about it, or they can't separate their family life from the club life, or different things like that. It's just not made for everybody. I mean, if it was made for everybody, everybody'd be doing it. It's like
right. So if a guy's honest with himself, he's like, hey, I love you guys, I like kicking it with you, good friend.
Yeah.
I just can't hang with that commitment for whatever reason. It's all good. They can still hang out, kick it, and be friends.
I've had a couple of friends of mine that wanted to come around us, and for one reason or another, I told them, I said, I really don't think it's going to happen, and I was honest with them, and I said, but you know what? Why don't you go check out these guys over here, because this may be a little bit more of what you're looking for,
right?
And they're friends with us and stuff like that. There, and maybe somebody, that, maybe more to your tune, Yeah. And a couple of times that's the direction they went, and it worked out perfectly for them, because some clubs are very political. There's other clubs that are not very political. Some clubs are very neutral on a lot of stuff,
right.
And so it's kind of, I think it's I mean, I care about my friends,
Right.
and I care about my club brothers, and and it's all, to me, it's synonymous. It's like, if if a friend comes to me and asks me for advice, I'm going to give them my best advice and my best, suggestions. I'm not going to try and put a round peg in a square hole, because no matter how hard you try, it's just not going to work without something getting damaged.
Right. You'd rather maintain your friendship with somebody than have them try to do something that they're not cut out for, that could damage your friendship as well.
Exactly. And I mean, with being that there is so many clubs out there nowadays, I don't care if you're clean and sober, there's a club. If you're a hard ass criminal, there's a club. If you're an easygoing guy, there's a club. If you're a Christian, there's a club.
And I met some of the Combat Veteran Motorcycle Association guys. They were super cool.
Yeah.
I designed a side patch for them for the truck by my house, and I did 3 paintings for them for their side patch, and they picked one. They made a side patch out. And I told them, so you could put the rest of them in your clubhouse. And he goes, we don't have a clubhouse. And I go, why not? He said, we're not a club. We're a motorcycle association, veterans, combat veterans. So
right.
Cool. So there's a group for guys that want to ride, just about,
I got a really good friend of mine. He's in the Bikers for Christ.
Yeah.
He's they're not a club. They're a mission. They put their motorcycle ministry.
Yeah.
They're out there their whole get down is about Christianity and stuff like that there. And like, why am I going to get upset about that? I mean, I got my beliefs, in our club, I got to say, in our club, it's like, we have people from kind of every kind of walk of life. Right. I mean, that's where our club has been around for a very long time.
Right.
Because if everybody's a hard ass and everybody's hard knuckles, well, you wind up beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
If everybody's kind of, milk toast,
Yeah.
Then you kind of like you just kind of wash down the drain.
Right.
So there's some people that are really really great fighters.
Right.
And you kind of need that. There's other people, they don't have to really know they don't really have to be great fighters, but they got the will to fight because you're still a man. You still got to fight for you believe. And so you can't have. It's to me, it's like it goes back to my learning of motorcycle and engines and stuff like that. You can't have two hard metals next to each other, because two hard metals next to each other are going to wear each other down rapidly quick.
Right.
You can't have soft metals next to each other because they'll weld themselves together.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to flow with a hard and a soft, just like the yin yang. You have to be able to float in each situation. Maybe you may be floating in one side to the other.
Yeah.
It's like a good friend of mine told me years ago. It's like you can be a nice guy and become an asshole, but you can't be an asshole and turn into a nice guy, because then you're losing traction.
Yeah.
So
like if let's just say a guy joins, like with certain gangs, they say like, blood in, blood out. You can't leave, or you're gonna get your blood spilled. So if a guy's in a club for a while and he's like, hey, I want to hang it up. Good grace, guys retire from motorcycle clubs.
Oh yeah. I mean,
it's not a gang, right?
What?
It's not a gang, right?
No, not by far. And even, and that's the thing, is like different clubs have their own structure and their own ways of like some clubs have a thing where they put people out inactive.
Right.
Okay. And so they can be inactive for a certain amount of years until they're just not a club member anymore.
Right.
There's other clubs that you're either in or you're out.
Right.
With our club, you're in or you're out. There's no.
Right.
It doesn't mean that you cannot be friends. It doesn't mean that if you leave on good terms, well, and your reasons are your reasons. I mean,
right.
There's people that have left for many reasons. Left for financial reasons, left for family reasons, left because they had to move back to a place where our club wasn't there.
Right.
Take care of the family farm and stuff like that. Like, you don't want. I mean, to me, anybody who's going to like leave their that would like let their kids fucking go without food, I don't want them around me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, come on, man. It's like, if you could provide for your kids and you could also be part of the club and function both, well, more power to you, But the only one who could decide that is you.
Right.
That's not a decision that somebody else can make for you.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, to me, there's people that were in our club that I'm still friends with years later. I'm still as good of friends with them before they got in the club as when they went in the club, and they're no longer in the club. It's just, but every club is different. Every club has its,
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it makes no sense to me for somebody to put a hatred onto somebody that was in that club just because somebody wants to quit because of whatever their circumstances are, and force that person into a very bad situation that they wind up, like running to the cops or something like that there, doing something, just because they're scared now,
Yeah,
that makes
them in a corner, paint them into a box where they feel
right.
Yeah. No, he's making an enemy out of somebody that's actually your friend. Right.
I mean, got plenty of enemies of the people that deserve to be put in that box, but because of the stupidity that like I was saying before, some people get in the club because they think it's like you said, it's the extension of their dick. Yeah. Other people come in the club because they want to, they want to be part of something and watch it grow and watch it be, and be part of the way, you know, it functions.
Right.
And you know, but
Positive.
you know, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome, man. Hey, thanks for coming on my channel, Fuzzy. It's been
Oh, for sure, bro.
really.
For sure.
And we'll get this aired up soon, and I'll let you know it's going to come on. Might have to cut it in a couple pieces, you know. But
Yeah, no problem. You know what you're doing.
thank you, and take care.
All right, Smiley. And nice talking with you. I'll talk to you soon, brother.
Oh yeah, ride safe down there.
For sure.
Appreciate it. Whatever you do, remember, do it hard.